All right, guys. Welcome to another week with Nick's Picks. We'll start with interest rates, like every episode. Interest rates have gone down significantly. I want to say it for first-time home buyers. I think a couple of lenders are quoting close to 6.8, which is amazing. So that's good news. Mortgage rates are going down. So for investors, I want to say that you can get, with 25% down, you can probably get about 775 right now, which is pretty good considering that my last couple of deals that investors bought with me were over 8.125, I believe. This is amazing that rates are going down. Hopefully they'll keep going. They'll keep dropping down towards the New Year's. Another thing that I wanted to talk to you about today, if you remember in the last episode, we talked about approach towards strategies for new listings on the market, meaning that they just came on the market maybe in a week or so, maybe a little bit, like let's say 10 days or newer on the market. Now, this week we're going to talk about private listings, or as a lot of brokers call them, the pocket listings in the pockets. Actually, Greg will be really good. You'll be really good help because you list a lot of properties. Mm-hmm. And tell me, why would a seller list something on private market?
Right now, basically, this is the worst time of year to have property in the market, right? So the good news is that if there is a property that you don't see anymore online but it didn't sell, there's a probably 90+% chance it's sitting on the private market right now, right? So the private market is it's a utility, the tool to get people some exposure, right? But without hitting them with market time. Because sellers right now, listen, I have a seller that knows what she wants for the property. It's gonna get it in the next, let's call it 6 weeks, because once we hit the new year. But she's like, I don't wanna go out live right now because I don't wanna get lowballed. I don't wanna set the impression that I'm desperate for selling, right? Because right now, if somebody's active in the market, there's probably a good chance they're desperate to sell, right? Just you go in there like, why would you, unless you got the worst advice ever, be live on the market right now, right? For like live now, brand new listing, like it's not a good idea. So it's a utility and a tool to get people exposure without the negative implication of what people assume listings going on the market live would get, right? But you don't get it on Zillow, you don't get it on the big
platforms.
Big platforms. Yeah. So you only really hit 10 to 15% of people because you have to have access to it. You have to have a Zen list. You have to be set up on the private listing network, which we're always pitching to our clients.
Got it. And I think keyword from what you said is basically sellers don't want to get lowballed.
Yeah.
And this is why I have a conversation with all of my investors. Is if somebody sends me a property and they or if I do a search, if I set them on auto search for private market and something comes up and they're like, oh, look at this property, it looks phenomenal. It's like, let's say it's listed like $250,000. Let's go and just lowball it for $200K. We're like, listen, like, first of all, no. Second of all, there is a reason these people are on private market, right? Like the biggest reason people go on private market is just to get exposure, and again, the best time to look for properties in January is between October and December, right? If you see something on the private market between those 3 months, that means that these people probably don't need to sell it that bad if they're on private market, meaning that they would not take less than they wanted. They have a number in their head, they had a conversation with the listing broker, and the biggest thing about it is, let's say hypothetically something listed for 250, their number in their head, the lowest they can go is 240. So meaning that they have time to wait. They can wait until March, they can wait until April, May, when the market heats up by a lot, and they can get better offer for what they're thinking about. Now, this is why when you're like, every time you see a private listing as an investor, just keep that in mind that it also have different factors. For example, if the property is tenant occupied or owner occupied, that's even worse. That's not in your favor. If the property is tenant occupied, that means that these people are probably cash flowing at least something on that thing. So why would they take like 20-30K on their asking price and just give it away when they're making a little bit of money and they're able to sell it in 3 months for like $20,000 more? Keep that in mind as an investor. This is why I wanted to, like, basically sort of the same thing as being a new listing, being on a private market, is don't expect to get that much of the market price. I mean, of course you can keep a tab on the property, you can save it, and you can just monitor the situation, and if a month passes by or 2 months pass by and these people are still in the market and they haven't done any price corrections, then sure, like that means that the market is showing you, not only the market, but like first of all, the market is showing you that these properties not worth that much, and second of all, it's just overpriced. That's what it is. So now that we covered that, let's go to our picks for this week. The very first one that I have for you is a property on 5002 West Newport Avenue, Unit 3. I want to say that this property is in Portage Park or Kilbourne Park, like right in the middle right there. The property is listed for 110K, 109,500. It's been on the market for about a month now. The HOA fees are not as cheap as you would like to be for a one-bedroom apartment, but taxes are pretty cheap right now. I'm pretty sure they're gonna jump a little bit. It is rentable property. Looks in a good condition, I want to say, from photos. Like, I mean, it's staged very well. I believe like that is virtual staging for sure. It looks in a good condition. The one thing that I kind of don't like is the radiant heat, but it is what it is for a property like this. This is okay for a first-time home buyer as well, because it's gonna be a little bit tough to find rental in the area for, let's say, half a mile for a one-bedroom apartment. To rent a one-bedroom apartment there, it's going to be a little bit tough to find something that cheap in that condition. So you can see that there is one right here that it's been on the market for 130 days. I'm pretty sure it looks like shit from the inside, but again, it's 500 square feet. Then you have one more right here that looks horrible. Now, if you want to live in something that kind of smells like new paint, at least, you know, it doesn't have to be updated kitchen or anything like that, but 1275 to 1300 is basically your bottom line for this area. Now, you can go, like I said, you can go and find something, if of course not a ground level unit though. So this property is actually pretty good for a first time home buyer, just to spend a year there, getting 5% down or even 25% down, whatever you can. There are a bunch of lenders that we keep in touch with on a daily basis that offer you grants. Maybe you'll be able to get a pretty decent grant. Grants are basically free money from lenders to go with their programs, like Fifth Third, Chase, Bank of America offer a lot of those grants. So this property, honestly, with 5% down, you can probably buy this condo with like $7,000. I'm not even joking. With if you qualify for a grant, and if you do the math, pretty decent right here with 5% down on 109. I mean, I'm not saying you're gonna buy for 110K, but maybe you can lowball them with 6.7. Let's say for a first-time home buyer, insurance is about $70 a month. 369. Like I said, a little bit of a higher HOA, but that might be a good thing. So you're looking to pay like about $1,300 a month with some utilities. It's gonna be pretty tough to find something that good for that area to rent. So as an option, this might be a pretty good option for a first-time home buyer. If you buy it on 100K, let's see what's gonna happen. For 100K, you're looking at $1,200 payment a month, and of course 5% down. Again, if you get a grant, you can get away with like little to no money buying a place. You can be a homeowner with like literally 5Gs. Now, next property, I think we covered this one. There's nothing very special about this place. The only comp that actually sold, and that was pretty recently, like a few weeks ago, it sold for 116 with like 115 because they gave him $1,000 credit. Maybe something was wrong with something in the building. It looked in a pretty decent condition, renovated for 115K. This one is selling for 110, so I'm pretty positive that you'll be able to lower the price down with at least $5,000-$6,000. So yeah, this is a pretty good starter property for somebody who doesn't want to rent anymore and have, let's say, $8,000 in their pocket. You can literally be a homeowner with $8,000. Next thing that I wanted to talk to you about is a building in Niles. Was it Niles? Let me see. So this is not something that I would usually recommend purchasing in, but this is very interesting building because the whole thing is on fire sale there. What I mean by fire sale, a lot of people are looking to get out of the building, which might open an opportunity for a crafty investor to swoop in there and buy a couple of condos. So as you can see, guys, on your screens, on your little tiny phone screens, that's all last year. That's all last year. That is sold this year, like literally that closed a month ago. Now there's only one sale, but what's going on here? 3 of them are under contract right now. 2 of them are on private market and 1 of them is active. So something's going on with that building. I mean, can I recommend you to go and like start swinging offers? Like, no, I don't. But that's definitely something that you might consider as looking into. What fire sale means is that the building is in distress. Something's happening. Like, there is no way out of how many units? Total units of 56. So many of them are on the market at the same time, with a private market and active market. There's something going on. Maybe they're calling for a huge special assessment. Maybe something else is going on. But again, the numbers actually work for this building. Again, the latest one that sold was for 131K in, I want to say, okay condition. They have parking, they have balconies and all that. All of these are definitely, like, the one that wasn't overpriced was this one that definitely needs about 20 to 25K in renovation, but it sold for 110K last. It went contingent for 110K. We don't know how much it was. It was on the market for 3-4 weeks, so probably multiple offer situation for this. But again, for 1-bedroom apartments in this area, this is a pretty reasonable price. Would you buy this specific one, let's say, for 140K? Probably not. They're probably overpriced, but you can definitely go and try to negotiate. And whoever your broker is, just make sure you dig into the building a little bit more than necessary, because something's happening. Like, there is no way 5-6 condos are going for sale in the same building at the same time. Again, something to keep an eye on. If you want to keep tabs on that building, definitely you should. The building is 8232 Niles Center. The last one that I have for you today is 1515 Quaker. This one is on the market for about 42 days. This is due to sell. I want to say that this is a good place to go and get them about, like, give them about 190, and you should be good to go. It's not in a horrible condition, actually. Decent can lines, granite countertop, in your washer dryer. Like, the appliances look kind of old. Maybe you need to change the carpet in the bedrooms. Nothing crazy, probably a couple $1,000s. And even as a first-time home buyer, 5% down, and if you move out there in a couple of years, you'll be able to break even. If you buy with 25% down and put a couple thousand into it, you can definitely get about $2,000 rent, which will get you about $350 a month. That's not a bad option. Definitely look into that. If you need some more information about the rest of the criteria for this specific property, definitely check the email blast that I'm sending every morning. That's all for today, guys. I will see you next week, pretty much the same time.